Your mind is not what you think it is. Most people never unlock even 50% of their mental potential because they're trapped by one critical mistake. Today, I'm going to show you the exact psychological system that top performers use to dominate in any situation. And trust me, this isn't your typical think positive advice. What I'm about to share completely changed how I think about intelligence and mental performance. This isn't just theory. This is a proven system used by elite military strategists, business titans, and master manipulators throughout history. But before I reveal it, you need to understand something crucial. Intelligence isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with. What separates truly brilliant minds from average ones isn't natural talent. It's how they train their brain to operate under extreme pressure. Think about it. When was the last time your mind went completely blank during an important moment? When you needed to think fast, but instead froze up. That's exactly what we're going to fix today. I've spent years studying how the world's top performers think, and I've discovered a psychological framework that can literally rewire how your brain processes information. This isn't about becoming just a little smarter. This is about developing an unstoppable mind that thrives under pressure. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine you're in a high-stakes negotiation. Everyone else is sweating, struggling to keep up. But your mind is razor-sharp. You're seeing angles they can't see. You're thinking 5 steps ahead while they're still stuck on step 1. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when you master what I call cognitive edge conditioning. Here's the thing about your brain. It's like a muscle. When you push it to its limits in the right way, it doesn't just recover, it gets stronger, sharper, faster. But most people never push hard enough to trigger real growth. They stay comfortable, and their minds stay weak. Let me break down exactly how this works. We're going to cover 6 critical components that will transform how your brain operates under pressure. Each one builds on the last, creating a complete system for mental dominance. Number 1. Creating cognitive tension. Your comfort zone is killing your mental growth. When everything feels safe and predictable, your brain gets lazy. It stops looking for new solutions. It stops adapting. That's why the first step is deliberately creating cognitive tension. Think about a time when you were under intense pressure. Maybe it was a job interview or a crucial presentation. Your heart was racing. Your palms were sweating. But here's what you didn't realize. In that moment, your brain was operating at peak efficiency. Every neuron was firing. Every mental resource was available. That's the state we want to recreate, but in a controlled way. Here's how. First, you need to regularly put yourself in situations where failure is a real possibility. I'm not talking about skydiving or anything crazy. I'm talking about intellectual challenges that push you to your limits. Debate someone smarter than you. Take on projects that seem just beyond your current abilities. Learn something completely new and complex. When you do this, something fascinating happens in your brain. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for complex thinking and decision-making, becomes more active. Neural pathways strengthen. Your mind literally rewires itself to perform better under pressure. Number 2. Mastering predictive thinking. This is where things get really interesting. Most people react to situations as they happen. But true mental masters can see moves before they're made. They're not guessing. They're using a trainable skill called predictive thinking. Here's a real-world example. I was watching 2 business leaders in a negotiation. One was responding to each point as it came up. The other seemed to know exactly what was coming next. He had responses ready before questions were even asked. That's not mind reading, that's predictive thinking in action. To develop this skill, you need to become obsessed with patterns. Start studying how situations typically unfold. Watch how people behave in different contexts. Pay attention to cause and effect. Your brain will naturally start to recognize patterns you never noticed before. Think of it like this. When you first learned to drive, everything required conscious thought. Now you can predict what other drivers will do almost automatically. That same principle applies to any situation. Business, relationships, conflicts. The patterns are there if you train yourself to see them. Number 3. Building mental agility. This is where most people fail. They develop one way of thinking and stick to it, even when it's clearly not working. True mental power comes from being able to shift strategies instantly, without hesitation. I'll give you a practical exercise. Next time you're in an argument or debate, force yourself to argue the opposite position. Defend the very thing you disagree with. This trains your brain to see multiple angles simultaneously. It makes you harder to predict and impossible to trap in mental corners. The key is to practice this in low-stakes situations so it becomes automatic when the pressure is on. Change your daily routine randomly. Solve problems using different approaches each time. Your brain will learn to pivot smoothly instead of freezing when plans fall apart. Number 4. The power of unpredictability. Now we're getting into advanced territory. Predictability is mental weakness. The moment others can anticipate your moves, you lose your edge. But true unpredictability isn't random. It's strategic. Think about a chess master. Their moves might seem random to an amateur, but each one serves a deeper strategy. That's what we're aiming for. Unpredictability with purpose. Start mixing up your approaches. If you always solve problems one way, force yourself to find 3 alternative solutions. If people expect you to react one way, do something completely different. But, and this is crucial, make sure every unexpected move serves your larger goals. This creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance in others. They can't put you in a box. They can't predict your next move. And that gives you a massive psychological advantage. Number 5. Weaponizing emotional intelligence. Here's something most people get wrong about intelligence. They think it's all about logic. But the most powerful minds understand that emotions drive decisions. Master this, and you can influence any situation. Start paying attention to the emotional undercurrents in rooms. Watch how people's bodies tense up or relax. Notice the tiny changes in their voice tone. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the real forces that drive human behavior. Practice controlling your own emotional displays. Learn to project calm when you're stressed, confidence when you're uncertain. Your emotional state influences everyone around you. Master this, and you can control the emotional temperature of any room you enter. Number 6. The 48-hour rule. This is the secret weapon of mental masters. After every significant event, success or failure, force yourself to wait 48 hours before making any major decisions. This isn't about procrastination. It's about letting your subconscious mind process everything that happened. Your brain keeps working on problems even when you're not actively thinking about them. Give it time to make connections you might miss in the heat of the moment. Some of your best insights will come during this cooling-off period. When you put all these components together, something incredible happens. Your mind starts operating on a completely different level. You'll see opportunities others miss. You'll solve problems that stump everyone else. You'll stay calm and focused when others panic. This isn't just theory. I've watched people transform their lives using this system. Business deals that seemed impossible suddenly become clear. Personal conflicts that seemed unsolvable find resolution. Mental barriers that held people back for years suddenly disappear. But here's the thing, knowing this isn't enough. You have to apply it. You have to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. You have to deliberately create cognitive tension. You have to practice predictive thinking. You have to build mental agility. The question is, are you ready to develop an unstoppable mind? Are you willing to push past your mental limits? To think in ways that might feel uncomfortable at first? To become the kind of person who thrives under pressure instead of cracking? If you are, then what I want you to do right now is simple. Pick one component we covered today. Just one. Practice it intensively for the next 7 days. Push yourself harder than you normally would. Create that cognitive tension. Train your predictive thinking. Build that mental agility. Hit subscribe to master more psychological techniques like this.